Good evening. We will now call the public meeting for the North Whitby Pool Park and Recreation District to order.
Quiet, please.
It is 18:06:33, June 27th. Thank you. All commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioner Holly, who is excused, notified that she's not going to be here this evening. So as we start, first, we should have changed this. We'll go with agenda changes first. Are there any agenda changes, additions, or deletions? No agenda changes. Board issues. Commissioner Harden?
Well, today, the pool was closed, and it made me very aware that we need a better system of notifying people when things come up. It was closed. I mean, it just closed before I got here, so I'm not complaining for myself, but, is there a system for notifying people?
What our system is right now, posted on the door, we posted on our page, and that's the only way that we do it.
Well, we could send out, we have email distribution lists, we could send it out.
We do have a small group,
But that would be potentially another way to get a hold of people, meaning like to actually get more followers or get more people kind of in that is right now it's people who have requested to be informed of things like this. It might be a way to say, well, if you'd like to be notified, if you give us your email address, we'll put you on that list or something like that.
Sure.
I think ideally it would be great if we had, and I don't know that our phone system could accommodate this, but it would be great if we had a phone system where the first thing that you do is, where there are selections or whatever, but if you had an over-the-top message, and again, it may not do that, but it'd be worth looking at longer term as we have more things going on.
Right, and can you send out lots of texts at one time?
No, we didn't.
No, we looked into that and it's very cost prohibitive.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That wouldn't really work for me, but it would work for, 99% of people.
And tied to that too, I'm really pleased because I've learned to be aggressive with closures because we have to do that. And our first closure was probably 20 minutes long. We turned 2 feet away. And the other was later on in the day, and it was the open swim, and it was certainly a safety issue.
No, I'm not against being aggressive with closures because we first have to follow the law.
Yeah. And we've learned that if we close, the health department can't do anything about it. In other words, they can't come in and find us or anything else. We're closed.
Okay, that's...
Any further agenda? Board issues, Commissioner Harden?
No.
Commissioner Schenkel?
Oh, no, thanks.
All right.
I was thinking about that.
No, all right. No board issues here. I don't think anybody signed up for public comment.
I do have one, I'm not sure where it goes, addition of our athletics director to speak with that.
Aquatics Director under staff reports
Yes.
would be, all right. Awesome, thank you. No public comments, and we have no minutes to review. Do we know who took minutes last month as we are? You did? So Harden,
Yes.
Holly, winner, chicken dinner, my friend. Would you please be responsible for minutes this evening? Thank you, Commissioner Hoffmeyer.
I'm early this morning, but I'll stay awake.
All right. All right, so Commissioner Hoffmeyer will do the minutes for this evening.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes?
one of the things, so obviously we see that this is blank, and we know that so last month we had asked for, and I don't recall whose to do it was, so I'm just saying it in earnest. We had asked for a list of outstanding minutes and then ones that have been submitted and not approved.
Yes.
So does anybody recall who owns that?
So I don't have access to all, obviously, I can't have the commissioners send me the minutes. They've gone to, the two of you. So Rex, how do we want to do this going forward? Because we need those 2 columns of minutes that have been approved and minutes that aren't. I know I have taken responsibility for Commissioner Frosch's minutes. I will do those.
So just to clarify, it's ones that have been submitted and not approved and ones that have not been submitted. Okay, just wanted to be sure.
Thank you very much for clarification.
So we can do that. Right now, the reason we didn't do it is because we don't have the technology to do it.
Are we still down?
Yeah, well, we're not down, but like an example, so the only computer that we downloaded the audio that was my computer that I hadn't seen in maybe 2 weeks, and so that's a technical problem because we're redoing all of our technology.
Right.
So, and we had a 2-week setback on that, which is another issue. So, that's the best we can do.
Okay. I know a lot of these were emailed in. So, and I don't know who's emailing, and I'll be honest, I didn't send minutes in. I don't even know the dates for Commissioner Frosch's. I will go back and look at January's because I know they're on there, and I have January's agenda. So I will do that. But I don't know, I would imagine they're in somebody's email. So is there a way we can pull that up using emails sent from? Okay.
I can go in and I can look for those, and then I need to go back and listen to meeting recordings and see which ones were approved at which meetings to compile that list.
Understood. Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate that. All right.
I mean, that literally means taking that unit, and listening to it from there.
So we can't do it yet on the computer because we don't have that technology. How long until we're back up 100%, do you think?
Well, I don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
Could we get, I think you did a really great job of letting us know what was going on with these types of improvements. Could you keep us posted with that? Because, to me, unless I really missed something, I've been unaware of much of this. Other than coming into a meeting and like, oh yeah, we don't have anything. And so it would be really helpful to set our expectations. Obviously, and you and I actually have talked about this already, so, I understand that there is contingency planning for the future, and I totally get that. But right now, when we're not holding the things that we expect to hold, that becomes really, it's frustrating, and I understand it, but it's frustrating. And hopefully you can understand where that comment comes from. Okay, thanks.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So you could just kind of keep us updated with, what's our expectation. I know I would really appreciate it. So thank you.
Moving on to voucher review. Please get a motion.
Give me a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve district vouchers 8181 through 8202 in the amount of $150,000, or $150,764.87, and conduct payroll transfers from M&O account to payroll account in the amount of $12,295.89.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Can we just take a vote?
Yes.
We don't have any detail about the vouchers. We don't have any information. Mr. Chair, I'm going to rescind my motion.
Motion rescinded.
Can we move this to later in the meeting and see if we can get this taken care of?
Agreed. So, Director? Yeah, we've got $16,790 from the cash balance and nothing else to include credit card reports. So I'm confident that speaking for the board, we can't move on approval of these vouchers without reviewing what the vouchers were for the taxpayers.
Okay.
So is there any chance we can have that by the end of the meeting?
It's not going to show there.
You got to listen.
So we'll move voucher reviews till later in the meeting. Committee reports, Clover Valley Committee.
Yes, so I have some things to say here. I'm going to let Chris Wittgenstein go first. Chris, I guess we'll let you release your inner Paul Harvey here or something so we can hear the rest of the story. We'll do our best to leave names out if we can.
Yeah, I don't know that everything else needs to come up. I think the situation that happened there tonight was fine and handled. I think at this point in time, that's been resolved and we're good to go. Brad and I have been talking a little bit back and forth about trying to do whatever kind of improvements we can, which is where I would focus this report at this point in time. So, for a message I received earlier, Brad's willing to do at least a slab by where the water is, where our water station is in the dog park. I'd like to get a big concrete slab in there, tilted backwards a little bit so the runoff of that slab kind of goes out into the parking lot and into that drainage system there versus right into the mud where it just kind of piles in muds, right? And then decorate it a little bit with some pea gravel to give a little bit of room because dogs like to play in the water. It's kind of, what they do. So, and then Commissioner Shingleton was able to give me the plans for the building permit of the gazebo, which I forwarded off to Ms. Hoffman and Hoffmeyer, what?
I've been called a lot worse things.
Hoffmeyer,
so we don't want to call you Jack Nicholson. So off there, I think Shane's going to try to work on getting some materials donated through one of the facilities in town, or at least find out where we stand with those. Again, I'm going to chat with Brad and see if he's willing to potentially help us with that build and whatnot and get that gazebo up hopefully by the end of the summer. I did speak with a lady that's connected to the CO and the XO of the base, who's reached out to us through Rex to potentially get some work done and getting the fence laid and some of these other things, and maybe some trees trimmed and whatnot, and whatever else we may need to kind of bring the park up a little bit to where it's at and make it a little bit better. And that was a great conversation I had with that individual today. So I think other than that, we're kind of right there, ready to go and rocking.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
can I have a question?
Yes.
So we have a budget for the park for this year. I think, would it be possible for you guys? I mean, I think getting things donated is fantastic, and I'm certainly not against that. But do you guys think you can work out just like we had kind of asked for from the dog park? I mean, from the ball field. Sorry, it's like really warm in here for me. Like work out like how that budget would break down, how we think that would break down.
How you wanted like that chunk of money, how it would be spent?
Right. I mean,
ideally, in the big picture, that would before anything was spent, that would be presented, so we know it. And in the meantime, we're trying to just kind of getting. So that the majority of that money I'd like to save for the labor-intensive pieces that we can't get donated.
Got ya.
So we get materials donated. Labor sometimes is much harder to get donated, especially with us not being a nonprofit. So it's not like that labor can be written off by somebody. So maybe we can get a reduced rate and whatnot to get the labor-intensive done. And I think that's where most of those funds would go. Potentially, we'd have to probably buy a little bit of concrete. That slab's going to be a little bit. Again, if Brad's willing to work with us, maybe we can figure out what those costs are. So once I get all that together, before we pull any triggers and spend any money, you'll have a budget.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Appreciate all your work on it.
So to parlay on both of your comments there, so the materials list that was generated out of this whole process has been sent to John Vanderwell, the manager of
Okay.
Frontier Lumber. He has sent that to their parent company here. They were bought by a corporation here recently. So that's been sent to the parent company to see if they will give us those materials. He feels pretty good about it.
Wow.
So we will go from there. And then like Chris said, hopefully we can get a discounted rate on the building, but there's probably gonna be some labor cost there. And we're working on figuring out, starting with the materials, going from there. The other thing that has went on out there as recently as Tuesday, somebody came in down by the base gate, came up that road there, hooked into the two gates there with a truck or something, pulled those out of there, cut the locks on all the sheds and took several lawnmowers, quite a bit of other equipment. And instead of turning around and going the way they came from, they went further up the hill and cut the cable as well and went out that way. So with the money we're putting at the dog park, with the money we're putting at the baseball fields, with the donated labor we've put, the baseball people have asked, is there any way you guys can get cameras out here? So I'm like, I will broach the topic at least.
We don't have any electricity.
There's no
As I
electricity.
say, there's no electricity where we put the receivers. I mean, I think that's a huge project in and of itself. It's an area that I think instead of cameras, what we can do, two things. One was a police report filed. I know you and I discussed this earlier when you told me about it. So do we know if a police report was filed?
So this is interesting, because this is the first I've heard about this. And I'm, so nobody came up to the dog park and let us know. I did notice the gate was down the other day when you and I were talking on Tuesday. So it happened Monday night then, is what it was. It had
Well, the gate actually happened 2 weeks ago.
Really?
the gate being pulled down by the dog park happened 2 weeks ago.
Is that the one by the
That's by the
Christiansons? Okay.
So I'm curious about this for a second, because I think the timeline's off at some level. Because the incident that we talked about, I had taken a walk, because the only speed limit sign on that road is down when you come in through Christensen's where it says 10 miles per hour.
Oh, really?
So I went down to get a picture of that so that, for
Yeah.
whatever, in case it was needed for whatever reason. And at that point in time, I'd walked down almost all the way to the gate, and nothing was visibly wrong with the gate.
That's
At that
Brad
point in
fixed
time.
it.
Okay, all right, that would be one. So I didn't even know, that would have been good information passed along to us up there, just for keeping an eye out. I'm there 2 to 3 times a day. Strange vehicles that I don't recognize when I'm there, I make note of. And stuff, so, and I know which kind of vehicles are there during the course of the day, during the times that I'm there, so.
I wonder if the best course of action might be a cable with a lock.
Well, they cut that off as well.
Yep.
You buy a big enough lock, it's hard to cut off.
It makes it much different.
Right, and if we put it out front by the sign coming right off of the road there,
I have another thought too
yes,
about
please.
potentially securing the baseball booths, getting their stuff secured.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way we can get an old Connex that's donated that we can chain with one of those big locks, right? You just make it much more difficult to get into. I don't know. I mean, it's possible there might be something out there floating around in one of those old junkyards or something.
Well, I think the three of us, Brad and you and I, can work on that, whether we can try to figure it out.
Perfect. No, absolutely.
And one thing I will put out there for you guys to think about is, I know we've got Dermo on the base, and I would look at the Dermo.
Dermo is security.
No, it's not, no, it's the distribution of old equipment. So what we do is we take old equipment that's no longer usable, and they auction it off to the public. So it's one way to get Connex boxes, since you mentioned that. But
We'll get together and.
Yes,
or do
I think that'd be a
some
great
action on
idea.
base. Maybe that individual can be of assistance.
yes,
Works in the office with the CO, and so that's probably a good connection. Okay, good. Yeah.
Queen. Excellent. All right. Anything else, Shane? I don't want to cut you off. I'm
No,
sorry.
I think all things aside, I think it has been I think it's probably been one of the best years out at Clover Valley Park as a whole that it has ever had. So
One other thing real quick on in Rex and I will definitely fine tune it and whatnot, but when does the baseball end? When are they going to be done? They think they'll be wrapped up. I mean, I know Babe Ruth is pretty much done, right? Or no?
Babe Ruth's over and
Different
All
age-
Stars.
Different age divisions.
Yeah.
Right, so I mean, I know that they're still using the Cal Ripken or Futures and covers inside
Mhm.
a little bit. I was just curious, so because I know that we've talked previously about dumpster or trash
Mhm.
for both ends, and I would hate to see us spend money that doesn't need to be spent until next spring, technically, right?
And I say,
And so that's why I said Rex and I talked
They
about
still
that.
have practices, and they will be doing a workshop in August.
it's awesome.
Okay. Good to know.
All right, moving on to unfinished. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Shane.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am?
Sorry, one thing that, I know we're going back to voucher review, but can I ask this now?
Yes.
And if we can't answer it yet, we can come back to it. So a couple of things, so we still don't have financial reporting for April, May. And then, so what I'd like to do, and again, if we need to come back to it, that's fine, but, so we need dates for when we're gonna get April, May, and June. And then we need to set a date for for like our half,
Year review.
yeah, so basically our financial and budget review, because we knew in January that, actually we knew in December that this year's budget was already off, so we need to make adjustments. And so we need to set the date for that meeting, so maybe we can start, well, actually, we can't start there. Can you
Yeah,
give
right.
us, yeah, go ahead.
Let's add that to unfinished business.
Okay.
Let's add, so what, item 6 for unfinished business
Yes, please.
will be budget actuals for April and May.
And June, I mean,
And
we need dates.
April, May, and June. And then mid-year budget review.
Yeah, I wouldn't even just call it budget actuals, because it's all the financial reporting. We need the bank balances, we need everything. Sorry, I'm just
Nope,
trying to
that's fine.
It's very
I
specific.
appreciate it. All right, so moving to unfinished business and action items. Employee handbook, I believe we were done with that.
I think there were some,
Is there any hanging chad that I was unaware of?
there are some, there are some,
I don't think
yeah.
we did the executive.
Yeah, we did.
I believe
Yeah,
we
we
got
did.
them both, yeah.
Yeah, but there are some hanging chads, if you will. But they were things that still needed to be developed. So it was approved, save for some specific
right.
items that were, I believe, noted. I don't believe we got an updated copy of it. Do you have an updated copy of the handbook? Okay, so maybe that's the next action item, and she'll be back next week. Sorry, it's not for me to share personal information. She should be able to provide that to you hopefully next week. But I can certainly log that request if you would like me to.
Okay. Yeah, there are two items that needed redoing, and then we're sending it off to have it looked at. And one of those items was dress code. I don't remember what the other one was.
Okay, so no action for the employee handbook pending updates from Commissioner Holly to the director.
Right.
All right, business plan 2019. This one's kind of,
I think this is a little bit moot. The one thing that we had been discussing, and so I would maybe put it into the committee reports part, or is so we formed a, what did we call it? I don't know. Sorry, I feel like I'm
A steering committee or the work group or which?
when we talked about non-aquatic program development. So program development, there we go. See, again, I'm sweating here, people. But program, I am. I'm like, what is going on? Program development subcommittee, and so that.
developments.
And if I may, one of the things that so when we talked about it, so we kind of had all met, and then we quickly dispersed when we realized that there were varying levels of interest, which is wonderful. It is, no, really. I mean, it's cool. But one of the things that we had talked about as a group, just to give you kind of an update, is looking at all of the things that were on the plate that there would be no expectation that we would start, and everybody should know that this breaks my heart, but no expectation of non-aquatic programs until the fall, at least the fall, because they're just, I mean, you know, we got to do first things first, and you know, and obviously there's a lot of progress here, but that's kind of where we're looking to move to, at least the fall, and perhaps a little bit beyond.
All right, so I'm going to move the business plan 2019 into the committee reports for a program development subcommittee.
Yes,
Future.
please. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate.
We're going to strike the next unfinished business item. It's finished. It's now part of the Clover Valley Committee, which is the dog park fence line. Community Advisory Board, Commissioner Harden and I have talked. We've set the date as July 15th, after the ribbon cutting. And we are currently working on an invite which will be sent out by both of us to interested parties. And we're going to ask them for an RSVP so we have an idea of what type of feedback we'll get, what kind of crowd we're going to get. So once again, that'll be July 15th after the ribbon cutting to celebrate our new reopening in a beautiful facility. Any questions? No? Fantastic.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any budget for, like, since we're going to go eat for either food at the ribbon cutting time, you know, when you have all those people going through, or, I'm thinking myself here, food at the meeting after? Or should I just bring my own bologna sandwich? No.
I'll take one of those.
Chris is signing up for one of
Orders
those.
are gatherings.
Um,
Orders are gathering, Pat.
Bring enough for everyone.
Oh,
Don't tell her that. She'll have Dave making sandwiches.
No, I can get him to do just about, I can get him to clean toilets, move toilets, but not make sandwiches.
What is the plan? And this may come out of the staff reports.
Well, no, well, because I haven't even thought about it at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's something to think about for either you or for us to think about for the cab, and I have a couple ideas for us that we can talk about in the
Okay.
subcommittee.
That's
All right.
just as a note, we're typically pretty cautious about using taxpayer money for stuff like that, just in case that stimulates any creative ideas.
That's good to know. I wasn't planning on catering a state meal, but yeah.
Right, but
That's-
I mean, the taxpayer
yeah.
money is
No,
taxpayer money.
I hear you.
So no further questions on the cab. Clover Valley proposal review. The only question here is, have we heard back from the insurance company yet?
We haven't, well, actually, I got one report, and it had an attachment, there's nothing in the attachment. You know, so I called again, and I'm waiting to get a call back.
Okay. Can we emphasize the importance of a deadline to the insurance company, please? Thank you. I know you don't have any control over that. I appreciate your diligence.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am?
can you just, again, it must be the heat, but can you just clarify for me what?
This is the proposal that the dog park, not dog park, but the ball field folks wanted to enter into with
Oh, got
us.
it. Okay.
Right of last refusal should something like the levy fail again in the future, ownership or lease, and how we move forward.
Okay, thank you.
And we're asking the insurance company, and that's a good point. We're asking the insurance company, can we, and what are the limitations for us as a special tax district? What kind of agreement can we, or are we limited to enter into
Okay,
with
thank
the
you.
league folks?
I appreciate the
Yes,
clarification.
ma'am. All right. So on to item 6, which is the budget actuals for April, May, and June. All the budget items for April, May, June, to include the bank statements. When can we expect those with the technical difficulties we're having?
Yeah, I don't know what the answer to that question.
Have a second.
Yes.
So, I think the board as a whole. I don't want to imply anything getting away from us, but I don't want it to get away from us either. I think the board as a whole has worked too damn hard to take the rap for anything. And if we need to approve of, I think we should have a 30-day timeline on this. And I think if we need to bring in some outside help to get it done, then so be it. So that's where I'm at.
Commissioner Harden?
And I would say that's within the decision-making ability of the director. I mean, I appreciate you saying it because I don't think any of us disagree. Transparency is too important, and I mean, we can't afford to avoid it. So.
And I don't want to belabor a point. As you know, this is one of the big things we talked about when we talked about during the levy, getting the levy passed, was to be transparent in the future, to not fall back and to go backwards. And yet, we've got April, May, and June, that's 3 months. We'll be into July before we actually have any budgets, and we should be doing, as Commissioner Shingleton said, we should be doing a mid-year review soon of our, of our budget, and to look at all the adjustments that you have made. Thank you. And then to write that and go forward for the next half of the year. And yet, as Commissioner Hoffmeyer said, we can't do that. And tonight, that's our primary public meeting. One of our primary public meeting things is to handle the public's business and to show them how we're spending their money. So thank you on your due diligence getting that fixed. But if we can, as Commissioner Hoffmeyer said, I think 30 days. You think that's reasonable? All right, before the next meeting, so we can have that for review for next month. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Obviously, we can't do a mid-year budget review until we've looked at those. So mid-year budget review would have to be in August.
Right.
Looking in August.
Well, hold on a minute. 30 days is not acceptable because our next meeting would be the 22nd, and we would need it prior to that. So, I mean, either that or we need to have an expectation of what we're going to get. Sorry, but
No,
August
good point.
August is not, or wait a second. Sorry, the 25th is the next meeting.
Yes.
I was looking at the wrong month. August isn't a great month for me. Just saying that out loud. I realize everyone's got stuff. I get it. But
By the 18th, a week before the next meeting. So we have time to review. Is that acceptable?
that would be great. And if not, I'd like to understand why not and what our expected date is. Because last month we were told we would have a date by the end of the month and we never received anything.
Rex, is July 18th due? Okay, thank you. And then either August or September for a budget review. And that'll actually start the budget planning process. That'll be a pre-budget planning process as we start to plan our next year's budget in October. So we're kind of missing out on a mid-year this year because of this. So, thank you. All right, new business.
Mr. Chair, can I
Yes,
just back
ma'am.
up for a second? We don't have the details for the visa report for voucher 8188. I'm just putting it out there early because we should have that as well.
81, 91, 96.
I'm just trying to get out ahead of this one before we come to it and then everyone has an issue.
I think we're to it.
Your turn.
81, 91.
We don't have the details of the visa statement, that's my point.
Oh, yes. So do we have the visa statements, Julie?
So they are tracked in scans that we can't access right now, but let me go see if I can get in through our online access
Okay.
I might be able to get it that way.
All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and continue with staff, new business, and while you do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sorry for the interruption.
All right, so moving on to new business while we wait for the visa statements. Revitalization Project Director. And by the way, it looks phenomenal.
We have a few things yet that we need to do. The people who did all of our pool revitalization are coming back on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to do our hot tub.
Oh, wow.
So that will make a lot of people happy. So I would think, we don't know yet about if our pumps work and all that, because we haven't had water in there for a long time. So that's another thing. They're going to do the resurfacing and all that, and then deal with anything that comes up after that. We still have the group that put in our heating system for the deck. We're still working with them. That's not done yet. But pretty much everything else is done. We tested it out. We've had like a lot of bailers in the water.
Yes.
And it's holding up, it's clearing, it's doing everything it's supposed to do. And because we closed today, we had water this deep all around the edge of the small pool, and it was starting to overflow in this pool, and it was just because something was plugged, and it was telling the computer like, hey, we need more water, and I kept doing that. And then our showers came on hotter than usual, so people couldn't take a shower, so that was
Sorry, it's not, it's just the polar opposite of what we're used to hearing. So
We're used to hearing,
I don't mean to laugh at people's misery, I don't.
Yeah. So, those things will come up, and they're not broken, which is fantastic. You spend $10,000 to fix something that's broken.
Just 2 computer bugs today was all.
But what a lovely place, what a lovely place to be, seriously.
I mentioned to you earlier when I walked through the other day, and I think I mentioned this to you also, that I was very worried about the baby blue. I thought it would be very institutional. And after seeing the water in the pool and everything else the other day, it actually brightens up the place so much. It's a good choice, so thank you. And by the way, the place looks phenomenal. So,
Thank you for not listening to Sean.
yes.
Sorry.
People love that
Had to go for that one.
It's been fun to see it all come together. This was, this was a few Wednesdays ago before we opened, and the mayor and his wife was in here, and I think at one point one of them had asked. The shirt does match very well.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's like your pool
That might
uniform,
be how he picked the color. I don't know. Anywho, Bob Severns and his wife was in here on a Wednesday, and they had asked, well, what else do you guys need before you open? It's like, now that everything else is done, this back wall looks really bad. It would be nice to get it painted. So Rhonda's over there messing on her phone. I don't know, somewhere. I swear it wasn't 5 minutes later. She's like, Captain Arnie's sending a bunch of his guys to paint your wall tomorrow. I was like, well, I'm like, hey Bob, I'm sure you could have got the captain to get the wall painted, but I don't think it would have been at 10 a.m. tomorrow. That's pretty cool. So, but the whole thing has came together. So many volunteers. Keller Williams came in for a couple of red days. There must have been, I bet there's been 75 of those people in here. It's been pretty amazing. I've been every bit of it.
And it really happened for all of those people when
Every one of them. Thank you.
Yes.
Yep. A lot of moving pieces.
Keep that up, you can stay.
I do have one question about, it's July 1, 2, and 3 that they're going to be
Yes.
resurfacing.
Yes.
July 1, 2, and 3, they're going to be doing the hot tub?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
And so far as we know, that the work, the scope of work that we believe that they're doing is part of what we've already paid for, unless something new comes up.
Right.
Is that, that's, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm just kind of counting the dollars a little bit. That's what I do. Right.
All right, good. Special request from Skip.
I'm here. Yes. Skip came in the other day and he's used to going out to the ball field and eating his lunch. And because there is cable there, he can no longer do that. However, there's no longer a cable there. So we can...
It's back up.
Oh, it's back up. Okay, so he wanted... He said he sent this letter. I don't recall ever seeing this letter before. So I took it from his hand and I said, you know, I'll present it to the board. I'll give it to the board. There it is.
You're having SUV, one.
I don't know. I didn't see he
Probably one that comes out of here. There's always one guy that comes out and parks right by it.
What time, Director, do we put the cable up and down?
It's based on the people who are using the ballpark.
Right.
So they're usually there, you know, around like 4:30-ish.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, I think it's an operational decision, and I just, my only concern would be, you know, exactly what he understood our concerns to be. You know, they're no different in terms of dumping and given, you know, given where, I mean, you know, I appreciate that he appreciates the park, I really do. The hard part is, you know, we thought it was currently secured, and I mean, it's just, I think we need to do whatever we need to do to take care of things. I hope we could accommodate his needs to the best of our ability. But if one of those has to be prioritized, then I think it has to be the security of our property and other people, you know, and goods. So, you know, but I mean, I think that's your decision to make. Sorry, I'm not upset about.
No, this,
yeah.
it's very nice to piggyback on what Commissioner Schumelton said. It's a very nice letter by Skip. I'm glad he enjoys using his tax district's, you know, place to eat lunch. I think that's fantastic. This comes down to, do you have the staff the time to accommodate a taxpayer? How amount, you know, it's all operational. It has no purview of the board, so to speak. This is really your decision, and we provide oversight, but that's it. So. All right.
By the way, if I sound upset, it's because I'm really upset about the stupid people that keep breaking in and taking things. Like that's, I'm not upset about him wanting to have lunch there. I just find it super upsetting. It's infuriating.
Yes.
Sorry.
It is.
Off topic, I
No.
realize.
So it might be, I mean, we were talking about volunteers and what they've done for us. And it might be worthwhile to almost have like a steward of the park out there, somebody that cares about it and would report anything nefarious to us. And maybe somebody like Skip here. I've never met him, but maybe somebody like that would be willing to help us out there, and maybe providing they pass a volunteer and a background check, maybe that person could end up with a key someday. Just an idea.
That's a
Great
great
idea.
Just an idea.
Yeah, great idea. Thank you.
Can I just make a comment?
Yes.
I would ask that the board be considerate to Mr. Johnson and send in a nice little thank you note for writing the board and letting him know that you guys handed it off to the operations director or whatever the title is, just so that he's been, that's that transparency.
That's a good point, thank you.
He can always hang out with me.
Do we have an email Rex for Skip.
I do have his email.
Could you send his email to me, please, so I can respond on behalf of the board to it? Thank you.
There's a physical address as well on top.
That's for the pool.
Oh, there's the pools, never mind.
I recognize
It's a
that.
great-
Thank you,
great
Chris.
physical
Thank you, Chris.
Lives here?
It's here. All right. Before we go to aquatics director, we're going to I'm going to call the meeting to a 3-minute adjournment. And not that we need to leave the room. That'll give us the time to review the visa statement and the voucher report for this month. So it is now 7:18, and we will re-adjourn at 7:23. All right, it is now 7:23. Reminder, we can always go longer, but we can't go further. So we've called the meeting back to order. So back to order, I'll need a motion first. So can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve district vouchers 8181 through 8202 in the amount of $150,764.87 and conduct payroll transfers from O&O account to payroll account in the amount of $12,295.89.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah. I have a few things. So on the visa statement, 416 Facebook, I'm assuming that was us notifying people about pending modernization.
That was actually advertising for the lifeguard living recycle.
Perfect. Okay.
Could we just get a rundown of what all these items are?
Okay, so the first two Microsoft ones, that's our email and our Office 365 subscriptions. The Facebook one again is the lifeguard and the USI advertising. On the back side, Best Western was the hotel for the 3 individuals that went to the AFO course. The next one down is the storage unit rental. That was a little higher than normal because they charged a deposit fee in the beginning. PPC Communications is our point of sale system. The $12 to GoDaddy was some component that we needed for configuration of the new website that's being built. And then the last 3 are the individual registrations for the AFO course.
For what? I'm sorry.
The aquatic facility operator course.
Sean?
Yes, go ahead.
There was only one individual that stayed in the hotel in Linwood. Just throwing that out there, no big deal. And then on the, I think I might be the best to answer this one. On the voucher report, George Rush, that's the emergency welder that we had to come in and help us, correct? Okay. So George Rush is a person that owns a welding company that bailed us out of a huge bench. This whole place reopened and hinged on a specialized welder coming in. So that's what that is.
Okay.
And what about 8193?
So that's our gas bill for spa, locker room, lobby, different offices. And then the other one, I don't know why the notes are missing, but the other one is our patron water.
Is there too much worth of water bills?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for some reason in the month prior, we did not receive the bills in the mail. And by the time I noticed that they weren't here and requested it, it was too late to get it in by that due date. So when the next bill came, I just paid all together right away.
So are we saying that heating the water is like under $500?
$840.96, correct?
So that was the patron boiler, the cool water boiler for the time they were closed. I don't know, maybe Shane can speak better to what might have created that during that time.
Maybe just the strangeness of the billing cycle, possibly.
Well, and I think that that patron boiler also maybe has something to do with, does it have something to do with the heat outlet, with the deck temperature?
No, but I guess it might have the same meter.
It
Yeah,
would have
right,
the same
same
meter
meter,
because we
yeah.
only have 2.
Yeah, that makes sense. By the same meter.
Plus, we turned on the cold air coming in from the outside.
Yeah.
And that might help, so.
Thank you for filling in those blanks. Further questions?
I just had one question on the newly, are they coming regularly or was this?
Yeah, they come regularly.
And do they, what do they do?
They mow the edge, not edge, they weed around the rails out there on the building.
So they don't do the leaf blowing and that kind of thing?
And that's only at the ball fields? Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Harden, was that it?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Shingleton?
Good, thanks.
No further questions. All in favor of approving vouchers 8181 through 8202 for $150,764.87 and a transfer to the M&O from the payroll account of $12,295.89, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Hi.
Everybody against? No against? Motion passes. Yes, thank you. All right. Staff reports. Something from our aquatics director. This is exciting.
So I think each of you has met Jenny. No, each of you has not met Jenny. So, Jenny's our new compliance director. She's doing an incredible job so far. And so just to consider, we have about 3/4 of our people are new to the job. She has created a schedule that we're currently working on for 4 days. We've been doing that, and she has already finished the summer schedule, and she wants to talk to you about, I think, lessons, because that's really primary.
Awesome.
So swim lessons, I'm hoping to launch on the 15th when we do our ribbon cutting, is my plan. The problem is, because we can't technically be a WSI facility yet, because I'm not WSI certified, I mean, I'm WSI trainer on staff, I'm in the process of building a hybrid lesson program based off of what I've come from the last 10 years and WSI connected. So I'm basically rewriting a swim lesson program. It's going to take me a little time to finish it and get the staff trained on how I want them to go. But if it goes the way I think it's going to go, it's going to be good. So the idea behind it is to have less amount of kids in a class. So instead of going 6 to 1, you go 4 to 1. That's more one-on-one time with an instructor, and it's a learn to swim with a progression-based. So you're not just learning like basic water skills, you're actually learning how to swim, which is what I like better than WSI, which is, it adds the safety component, but I'm a USA swim coach too, so I want kids to learn the proper way to swim.
So there's stroke development.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
So the idea would be you start with a level 1, learning to back float, front float, proper technique for kicking, adding in the arms to freestyle and backstroke, and then slowly progressing to learning all 4 strokes by the end, is my plan. So.
I would add, within that 10 years, a good portion of that is instruction, her teaching. She's taught swimming over and over again. So I don't think there's anybody more qualified.
Yeah, I mean, the last 5 years specifically, but, and the aquatics management side of it has only been 3 years, but I have been teaching swim lessons like half my life, so, and I've taught WSI previously, just not the newer version of it. I like it, however, I think it misses a piece that is important for, good quality product. I come from a swim school, and you can actually research it, it's called Safe Splash. They're nationwide, so Mike Mann, who wrote Safe Splash's program, is the founder and owner of Swim Labs. He is a partner, they're a partnership with USA Swimming. It's just a good quality product. I can't use their product because we're not Safe Splash, but I can use portions of what I learned from that program. I believe in it, I believe strongly in it, and I think it's easy to teach, and it's also easy to train to teach. So there are components that I'm going to take from that program and some of my own ideas, and then just things that I learned in some of my coaching experience as well. So that's my plan.
Questions or comments from the board?
I just have questions as somebody who doesn't know any better.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but I'm anticipating what other people might ask.
Totally.
So does that, so we have previously been a Red Cross certified facility.
Correct.
Does it change that?
So we cannot actually advertise that we are, I reached out to the Red Cross rep to find out what it would take to get WSI.
Okay.
Because I had moved my LGI cert over to Washington because it was currently in Colorado. So we are a facility that can run lifeguard classes, and I have that set up with Red Cross. In order for us to be considered a WSI Red Cross facility, you have to have a WSI trainer on staff.
Okay, okay.
So we call it swim school. We can say that we do a hybrid version of WSI. However, we can't say that we are a WSI facility.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And I think the only other thing that I would, and I'm not asking this for an answer right now, I would just suggest being prepared for it, and maybe you already are.
Yeah.
But is, we have lots of people in this community that have sent their kids through to a certain level of swimming, and so I think it would just be important for them to understand where do we fit in, and how is this, like, how do I learn the new
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
And so as long as we're prepared for that, I mean, I look forward to seeing how, I know there are people who really loved our programs before, and I know that there are people who actually had difficulties with them. So I'm excited to see how this, doing something different might be more successful for some of the kids in our community. So I trust you, and I'm excited to see what the feedback is
Yeah.
and how it works.
So I have actually been out on the deck talking to people who have been asking questions about swim lessons. Because I want to know. I don't know. I mean, I know this area. I grew up in Anacortes. I swam at Anacortes Pool. So I know what they have gotten, but I wanted to know what they're expecting. And the biggest thing that they're missing and that they have missed is, one, they don't feel that their kids are learning anything because there's too many kids in the class and there's too much distraction. So I want to eliminate that. That's why I want to cut it down from 6 to 4.
Great.
That's what I've done the last 5 years, and it's been phenomenal. You see the growth just in one lesson. Just to have that one-on-one time with an instructor, and also parents want to know what their kids are learning. And so I feel at the end of each session, we should have what is called like a show and tell, where parents come, they meet their instructor, the instructor explains what they're learning, and also the kids get to show off, hey, look what I did. This is my favorite thing.
Like a recital, if you will. I mean, but
So yeah, at Sea Splash it was called Splash and Tell. I won't use the same terminology because I don't want to go off of what they did, but the idea is the same. And we did that at my other job, at Lifetime as well, where once a month they got to come and see, and it was when they got the report card, so it gave the instructor an opportunity to really explain to each one of those parents, hey, this is what we worked on, this is what they need to grow to get to the next level. Because you're paying for something, you should be able to see the progression of what you're getting. So, yeah, I'm passionate.
excellent. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, I feel like it's really, really important. And I think that will eliminate some of the stress of the front desk, because they go to the front desk and it's like, why is my kid not progressing? And as a parent myself, I have paid for years of swim lessons and done swim team with my kids, and that's always been the one thing, is like, why am I paying for something if I don't know what I'm getting?
Yeah.
So I'm coming at it from a business perspective, but also a consumer perspective, and they're taxpayers, and they're paying extra for this, and we live on an island, so they should know how to swim. So.
Thank you.
Commissioner Harden?
Yes. You're saying you would give this show and tell at the end of their lesson. How long is their lesson session?
So they're 30-minute, the sessions?
No, but I mean, is it like 10 or?
So you would get 8 lessons, so essentially it'd be 4 weeks, twice a week, for 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks, twice a week, 8 lessons. I have to do that. So at the end of the 4 weeks, on that last lesson day, and I'm passionate that if you have a Monday, Wednesday schedule, you have the same instructor, both Monday and Wednesday. Just because kids need to be able to connect with their instructor, parents need to trust that the quality is going to be the same. And my idea is that we are gonna do like a couple of in-water trainings where I'm teaching them what I expect. But, you know, personality-wise, you can't have one instructor on Monday and one instructor on Wednesday and expect your kid to grow. Just because everybody has a different teaching style. So it's better if they have that. So at the end of the 4-week session, so if they have a Monday, Wednesday, that Wednesday will be their like show and tell. Or Tuesday, Thursday. So Thursday would be their of the last day of the session. Does that make sense?
After the 4 weeks is
Yes.
gone.
Yep. So on the last week of the 4 weeks, that last day of the session. So
Right.
if you sign up for a Monday, Wednesday, the Wednesday would be your like, show and tell.
And what do the kids that are not, say, in with the instructor doing? Sitting, freezing on the edge, or?
So this is
No,
my
'cause this is what I've seen.
So I know, and that's the other thing that I'm a little bit concerned about as well. I've been talking with Matt. I would really, really, really like to buy some like platforms.
Oh, yeah.
Safe Splash had like a bench idea that was fantastic that you could build. In fact, I built them because we ran the swim school, so we were responsible for all maintenance, everything.
PVC?
Yes,
Yeah.
everything was PVC.
Yeah.
My old boss at Safe Splash has sent me the plans for them, so because they can share that kind of stuff. So ideally, I would like to build 4 of those benches, use the stairs, and then have 4 more.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Because I saw them doing that in Anacortes. and I
Yes,
thought, oh,
that one, it
Yeah.
eliminates the safety aspect of kids sitting on the side because they get antsy. 2, when they're in the water, the instructor's right there. So if something happens, they should never have their back turned, ever. Go side to side, so they can see. It's a little bit better control, and you can give them a skill to practice on the bench. So if you have a 3-year-old who's kind of wiggly, you know, practice blowing your bubbles or practice your kicking, you know. Ideally, they should be moving at least 90% of the lesson in some capacity.
they will be moving at some capacity.
Yeah, I don't like
The
the
voice
idea of
experience.
them sitting on the wall. I don't like that for multiple reasons. It's really hard to manage a 3-year-old sitting on the wall while you're trying to teach, and I can't have 6 lifeguards managing, you know, each class. So for the safety piece of it, I'd like to have benches or some sort of platform for them for that purpose. In this area alone, I mapped it out. If you take this lane line out, that's enough space to go from the wall to the lane line and circle swim, so that they learn how to circle swim. And have
With the right etiquette?
Yes. Always the right side.
Exactly.
So, I mean, ideally, if the program goes the way it should go, by the end of the program, they're going to some other like swim team program, they should know the basics of circle swimming. So,
Yep.
anyways, I could go on for hours.
Commissioner Harden?
I'm good.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer? Questions?
No, just final board comments, not yet.
Okay. Jenny, a couple things. I think that the feedback's important, especially with the helicopter parents. I think that was spot on. I am really excited about the progression, especially with the feedback. And I think stroke development is huge because that has been lacking in the past. Definitive stroke. And as somebody that struggles to this day at my young age with butterfly, which actually looks like a hippopotamus drowning, and they're
Everybody.
water animals. I think that's fantastic. So thank you very much. I look forward to hearing more from you and Rex about the future of swim school.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It's going to be a soft launch. It's going to take me some time to get it exactly where I want it. I have really high standards, so coming into it, even birds, like, you know, I'm pretty, come from a very high-end gym, and everything had its place, and everything was neat and clean, and that was the expectation. So I'm taking a lot of that training and instilling it in both my guards and my instructors. I don't think that they've had direction previously, and so it's going to be a lot of cleaning up and fixing and molding. But I'm excited to see what will come of it. So
It's gonna be tough. I know you know this, but when the swim school launches, it's gonna be hard for people. We're gonna have far more demand than we're able to meet, but it's okay. For you to say you have high standards and you're trying to get it right, I don't think there's anybody here who wouldn't support that. So, that's what we need to do, is to do it right.
yeah.
So,
Exactly.
it's gonna be a little bit painful
It is.
for everybody, including the community, to be patient for that.
Yeah, and I think, when parents start to see that their kids are progressing and they're growing, and I'm gonna be in the water teaching too. I mean, it's the best part of what I do, is getting in there and seeing those kids grow in the water and learning to love the sport that I love. So, I'll be right there, and I've told my guards and my instructors that I will never ask you to do something that I won't do myself. So, I'm not afraid of the challenge. And I think the more that I'm out there and the more I'm talking to people and explaining my vision for it, the better it's gonna be. So,
I'm excited to talk to people that I know about it, because now I know a little bit more. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that with us, and I look forward to hearing more
and
about
as soon
it.
as I get the documents set down, I just have to
Yeah.
and actually get what's in my head out on paper. I will make sure that I send that off to you so you can.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No? Rex, any further,
I just want to
Director?
add one thing. We repurposed the room here so that that's Jenny's office. It's also an on-purpose room, because that's where the guards take their breaks and eat and whatever. So it's different, and it also gives this adult way of overseeing what's going on.
Right.
Any further reports from the Director?
I have a director's report that I've included in there.
Yes, you did.
You also have it in your email.
Yes, read it earlier today, thank you.
Very good. Very good.
All right, no further comments. Our final board comments. Commissioner Hart.
I'm excited about that.
Commissioner Shingleton.
Since we skipped this part, I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna redress this. Can we set the financial review for August 8th?
August 8th.
Would that work for people? Just, if we wait until,
Hold on.
if we wait until July 25th
Yep.
to schedule it, we're already a little bit host. And if that date doesn't work, then.
Well, I'm not going to be here,
Okay.
so that doesn't mean it can't happen.
I am available August 8th. Shane?
Yeah, sure, go.
Is that okay with you? I don't want to, I mean,
Say,
it's-
Mother, may I? Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's.
So we will do the
I'll
financial
write that down for next time.
Long sandwiches included.
Financial review.
Exactly. Who's gonna bring the bologna sandwiches for this meeting?
Dave. Review for August 8th, what time?
Sure.
6 PM?
Sure.
Is that too early for you?
That's fine.
Okay. Rex, is that going to work for you?
Yes.
All right. I'm sitting
Thank
here,
you.
we're forgetting the most important guy in the room.
Right.
Rex, does that work for you?
We'll be here.
We kind of need you.
No, thank you. No.
He's here every single day. It's all good. It's all good.
All right. Anything else, Commissioner Shingleton? That was a good point. Thank you. Commissioner Hoffman, I know you have some final comments now.
Yeah, the wall color on the pool deck is not baby blue. It is Sherwin-Williams Skyfall. You can paint your own house that color if you so wish.
Go ahead and make a note of that.
But where I'm going with that is, kind, compassionate, knowledgeable, energetic, family-oriented, great leader, extremely energetic, those words could be used to describe Jenny or Rex, either one. And they both truly fell out of the sky to us. And as far as who picked the color, I don't know. I think it picked itself. Everything just has a way of working out around here. And you guys have all been in here enough. For it to go from looking what it looked like to what it looks like now, it truly was a bloody hurricane. And they are a couple of the people that have been eyes in the middle of a storm. And I think, back to the baby blue color, but I think I think they're a steady hand on the tiller to ensure that the sky does not fall on us again.
Oh, nice.
Thank you for tying that all together.
Too bad.
I do have some final board comments from myself. One thing I noticed when I did a walk around with Matt the other day, I have some concerns. If the budget allows, we need to look for a chemical storage locker or someplace to get all that bleach out of Matt's locker. I know it cannot go into the back room because it's a different bleach than the bleach that is required by the pool, and as such, it's not allowed to be stored together. But if we could do that, my head and just about, I gave myself whiplash when I walked past and saw that, and he chuckled. So I know you're aware of it, and I know you're working towards it. I appreciate that, but if we could. And that's another, great staff. Thank you all. Our next meeting is Thursday, July 25th at 6:30 p.m. I almost got it.
Can I get one more thing from you?
You certainly may.
So when Paul Brewer was still out of the base recycle, I have in the past gotten a couple of pretty good foam lockers out of there. In your travels, could you see if they have any?
I can't.
Okay.
If somebody else can, I can't.
I know a few people.
Okay. Yeah, I
Okay.
can't do that.
Absolutely. You bet.
Thank you.
Yep.
So,
We use the cars to store them.
what's that?
We could use cars to store them.
Hush your face. Hush your face.
Pete would love that. Good point. All right. On that note, our next meeting is Thursday, July 25th at 18:30. We have nothing further, so do I have a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
at
At 19:50.